well, welcome to this week's edition of our Midweek Pit Stop. It's number 2. I've got my favorite person in the entire world. Thank you so much for watching today. If you are watching and you have not yet subscribed, click subscribe, like the video. We're going for 10 likes. Same thing as last week. If we can get 10 likes and you can prove that you got 10 likes, you get something from the Grubhub. I will give you free Dorito sweet chili chips. Or whatever else you want, the little Airhead Extreme things, and it's going to be great. But Adriah, thank you for being on today. It wasn't really a choice. After last week, you demanded that you be on. Mm-hmm. You basically said if you're not on, you don't come home and sleep in this house.
The original plan was to make you really embarrassed, but then I just realized that I love you too much for that. So,
did you? Is there anything that embarrassing, or were you more worried about the fact that maybe I have more ammo?
You probably do. I mean, I can think of a couple that are embarrassing, but I'm sure you've already told them. So,
like when I was sick with the flu and I pooped my pants.
Yeah.
That was disgusting. Anyway, okay, I've got a question for you to start.
Okay.
It's your opportunity. What's the most annoying thing that I do? Most annoying. I know you probably think like, oh, I got a list.
Oh, I do.
Just the top of the list.
I'd definitely say it's probably when you are looking at your phone when I'm trying to talk to you.
I'm looking at important stuff.
Not important stuff.
ESPN is
usually,
important.
Yeah, reading articles.
Reading my Bible.
No, you don't read your Bible on your phone.
Reading my prayer list.
You yell at them for reading their Bible on a phone.
True. Phone Bibles aren't real Bibles.
It's probably that, because I'll be trying to have a conversation with you or like tell you about my day or something funny. Or I'll be like, babe, look at Liv. She's doing something cute. And you're like, hold on a second. And then by the time you look up, she's like done being cute.
Can I go?
She's
my turn?
done being cute.
Can I go?
I guess.
The most annoying thing that you do to me is try to talk to me when I'm on my phone. Because I ain't like... ESPN articles can be important. It could impact my fantasy team. It could be like a big trade just happened, like James Harden going to the Brooklyn Nets. Like, that's a big deal. You don't think so?
No. I don't idolize sports, so.
I don't idolize them. I just like to be informed. Or I'm reading about like what's happening in the world. Because who do you ask when you want to know what's going on in the world?
Well.
You ask me.
I guess I ask you.
You ask me. How would I know if I never read?
Yeah, but.
Leaders or readers?
Usually I can figure out stuff out by myself too. And I'll be like, hey, did you hear about blah, 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 blah? And then you'd be like, yeah.
But I go deeper.
Because you
read more articles.
And avoid talking to your wife.
I will admit, I'm sometimes on my phone too much.
Yes,
and I need to give you more attention.
I agree.
But anyway, even though it was forced, thank you for being here. I'm excited. The mother of my child, the woman of my dreams, my high school sweetheart is here. And we're going to talk about a little bit about this last Sunday. And we're going to talk a little bit about our stories and how practically this last Sunday where we talked about the vessels and God-filling vessels, empty vessels, how that intersects with our story and hopefully how it can help the students in their walk with Jesus. So my first question dealing with Sunday is, how do you and how did you in high school empty yourself?
So I would say in high school it was probably through serving. As far as I used to serve in the cafe.
You used to make me vanilla frappes.
Yep, and strawberry smoothies. Oh, and the cookies.
I was just a big vanilla frappe fan.
Cream shake?
Oh, yeah.
Oreo
you used
shakes.
to smash those. That's true.
Oh, those are so good.
They're
anyways.
Like McFlurry.
We need a cafe.
We've got the Grubhub with a cool LED sign.
I definitely didn't, like, picture serving, or, like, I didn't really have the mindset of, like, serving in the cafe as, like, emptying myself out. Like, I definitely could have had a better mindset with that. But now looking back, I'm kind of like, that kind of set me up to be able to serve more now. Yeah. And then I also served on the worship team. So I definitely say that was like a way that I would empty myself out.
I think I should put that video of you back in like when you were in middle school or something singing at the Christmas program.
The one where I was like this the
whole
time? No, that was when I was little. That was with my arm.
Oh.
I would always have like this nervous thing where I would like hold my arm like and
Nervous.
sing.
Straight jacket.
But the other one, that one was. I still remember the shirt I wore and everything.
Wow,
Like,
is that traumatic?
no, I liked that shirt. I think it was from like, oh gosh, maybe like Wet Seal. Do you remember that store? Is that still a store? Is Wet Seal still a store? Is that what it's called?
That's an animal.
I'm pretty sure it was a store. Was it a store?
I don't know. I didn't shop at girl stores.
It had guy stuff in there.
I
It
shopped
was like
at
a Route
Dunham's,
21,
Dick's
but it
Sporting
was
Goods,
something else.
Under Armour, Nike, Outlet. That's where I shopped. Walmart, Goodwill.
You never showed at Goodwill.
No,
Not
true.
With yours.
I do enjoy Walmart. This jacket's from Walmart, actually. True story. Going back to what we were talking about, I also feel like you always had a heart for your friends, too. Like, you poured yourself out for your friends.
Yeah.
And loving on them, even when because Adriah was a heathen for a little while. That is just a true story. She did, and then I changed her life.
She did what?
She did run from the Lord like Jonah, but I changed her life. Not really.
You didn't.
She batted her eyes at me, and then invited me to church like, oh, he's so cute. And then I came, and then I got saved and on fire for the Lord. And then you're like,
Wait.
I got to do this too.
Yeah, you can love Jesus like that? I didn't know that.
So I think, even
Yeah,
through
like
that,
for my
you always
friends-
knew what was right and loved your friends.
Yeah, like and I feel like I mean, I don't know that they would really, some of my friends, like, I don't know that they would reach out to me as much now, but I definitely feel like back then, like, if they had something going on, I was like, I don't want to like pridefully say like I was the one they went to, but I feel like for the most part that I always ended up in a situation where I could help them.
Yeah.
So
how did you fill yourself up then? If you poured yourself out, how, even when you were in high school, how did you find time to fill yourself up? Like, what did that practically look like?
well,
You know, obviously you weren't like perfect at it, but
Yeah.
how did you do that?
yeah, I
to the best?
definitely wasn't perfect at it. I would say back in high school it would probably be more of like worship. If I wasn't on the worship team, like the times that I was actually able to like stand in the crowd. Sunday mornings before service, we'd have to get up really, really early and go to prayer.
7 a.m.
7 a.m.
I wasn't even on the
before
worship team and I
services.
went because I
But
love Jesus. But
I
we
love
you
now
fell
looking.
asleep.
We did fall asleep a couple times, but now looking back, like
separate from each other.
yeah, separate from each other. But like
I
we'd
was
be like
like-
laying on the chairs like over here, and then I'd be like over here like in the chair like falling
We were
asleep. So.
trying to get prophetic dreams
Yeah.
from the Lord.
But now looking back, like I hated it. I hated that we had to go there. Like I didn't hate prayer in itself, but I hated how early it was. But now
Yeah.
I'm like, it kind of set the like trajectory. Is that the right word for
I think so.
like the service? Like we were able to pray about the service, and but in general, I feel like for me, I took that more a lot of times as like a personal time. Sadly, that might have been my only time that week that like I had spent time with the Lord, but it was kind of like I can almost look forward to it because I knew that I would finally be able to get alone and just it'd just be like light music and I could pray and he could speak to me. And I feel like in those times before Sunday morning services, just in our little time of prayer that we would have, I would have just like little revelations for myself, like if I was dealing with shame or just like feeling like I wasn't enough. I feel like those were the times, if I look back, where I felt like God really
Yeah.
filled me up and reminded me who I was.
I remember when I first got saved, I was just so passionate. I remember Taylor Van Wagner and Jake took me to the Christian bookstore before it closed. That was my favorite store. They bought me a huge $90, like this thick from the table,
You still have it,
$90 study
don't you?
Bible. It's on our bookshelf at home.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first got saved, because all I had before that was a kid's Bible with pictures. And so they were like, oh, let's get you a real one. You're 18. And I remember I would read a book of the Bible a night. Like, I'd read Matthew one night, Mark. I didn't comprehend. I didn't know. I just read. I just felt like, man, this is God's word. I want to read it and get it in me. And I think that did help in the long run transform me. I know it did because that's what God's word does. At the time, I just went through and highlighted lines that I liked and impacted me. And I believe that was even God speaking. Then it was like the bottom of the roller coaster was like I would just be struggling. And I would need somebody to encourage me. And I might only fill myself up on Sundays, which is not healthy.
Right.
But I would feel that during the week because I would just feel empty and drained and like, man, something's missing.
Yeah.
But I think for students, finding a time and finding that place. For you try to get up before Liv wakes up now.
Yeah.
I do it midday when Liv's napping, or I do it at night when she's sleeping and you're laying on her floor, or she's already sleeping and we're just sitting there reading and listening to music or whatever. But for students, find a time, find a place that works for you and just do it.
Yeah.
Maybe
and
it's
get
at
in
lunch.
routine. Like.
Yeah.
And then if you get off a routine, like if you're like, oh, I'm going to get up every morning for school and like spend time in prayer and like read the Bible, like if one day you forget or you sleep in, like don't feel like, oh my gosh, well now I have to wait till tomorrow. Like don't neglect it. Even if you don't get it at like the time that you plan, you can still do it later in the day.
Somebody told me take advantage of the random minutes you have.
Yeah.
And I always say, like, everybody poops. So instead of sitting on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, just open your Bible app and read the verse of the day and say, Lord, speak to me. Read a chapter. And
yeah, I did also just hear someone say, and they didn't say it like you did, but
they
said, like, keep a book in the bathroom.
Gross.
Instead of your phone.
Do you feel like poop particles, like, float around?
I don't know. That's not the point. But the point was you could read, like, at least a couple paragraphs or whatever.
But do you feel like over time poop particles would just, like, build up on that book?
No.
I'm just curious.
You really think, like, bathrooms would be absolutely disgusting if that's...
Are they not?
I mean, I clean ours, but, like, I don't,
do?
like, wipe down the walls and stuff all the time. Like, that.
But what if science were to say there are poop particles everywhere?
You know those, the hand dryers?
Yeah.
They blow out
poop particles?
Poop particle. I never use them. If you see me walking out of the bathroom and I'm like this, it's because I didn't use the dryer. I won't use them.
Wow.
Nope.
Okay, last question. We talked about bringing in more vessels because God pours out as long as there's vessels to fill. He fills us, but then there needs to be more. How did you practically, when you were in high school and beyond, how did you bring more vessels?
I would definitely say before I was like really strongly living for the Lord, I would invite friends and like hope that they might like encounter Jesus, and then I could encounter Jesus, and then we could just like be like Jesus loving friends, you know, and we'd have each other. And I will say, don't do that unless, I mean, not that like don't invite your friend to church if you're not like really loving Jesus. I guess I don't know if there's like my friends might be able to like look back and be like, oh, I remember that one time I was at church. I can't speak for them, but I feel like I almost made them not want to follow Jesus because I wasn't, you know, like
a hypocrite.
Yeah, like I would be one way at church and then another way at school. So, but after I started like really getting serious about my walk with the Lord, I would invite friends, and like how you will say like, invite your friends, but don't just invite them, bring them. Like I always did that. It was never a thought in my mind like, hey, here's my like church address, you should just come. Like it was always like, I'll bring you, or you can ride with me, or I'll buy you a smoothie when we get there.
Hey.
So
Your mom would buy him a smoothie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she actually would. And yeah. So then like my friend, one of my friends, Jessica, I invited her multiple times, and when she started coming, I don't remember when it was, but she eventually got saved, and then like it kind of like I don't know like the word I'm looking for, but she got saved and started coming to church with me, and then she started serving at FCA, and I don't know if she served with me in the cafe. I don't think she did. But anyways, her mom in turn got saved too, because Jessica started coming so much, and then her mom was like, what's this about? So then she started coming more. And then I still have like a little card that her mom wrote me, I think for my graduation, that said like, thanks so much for inviting my daughter to church, because now I have a relationship with Jesus because you invited my daughter to church.
Wow.
So I love that. I love that. Like it's not just, oh, I'm inviting a friend to church. It's like, no, I'm inviting and I'm bringing them, and it's going to affect their family and the next generations to come too, because of like when they come encounter with Jesus.
And their family. And their
children.
Their children.
Yes.
I think even what that story said, like, God is the one who fills the vessel, not us.
Yeah.
It's not dependent on us. And so, like, students, if you're watching, maybe you feel like, I can't bring my friends. I don't live a perfect life. Nobody lives a perfect life.
Right.
I don't live a perfect life.
Yeah.
You don't live a perfect life.
But I was intentionally, I knew that I wasn't living a perfect life.
But, like, God,
like,
when a seed is planted, it doesn't matter, like, if you accidentally drop seeds into a field, they'll still grow.
Right.
And
like I said, like, I don't know if my friends are, like, they have those seeds. Possibly.
And so, invite, bring. I think even for me, I remember I would come, because I got saved my senior year. 4 months saved, I would bring the baseball team. Like, we would come after practice. I'd be like, hey, guys, get the van. We're going to church. And we would show up to church sweaty, wearing our nasty, dirty clothes. because I got my life transformed, and I was like, I want their life to be transformed. And I remember, like, we would have nights where there would be like 10 guys on the baseball team at church, and it was just like we were just showing up. And so, and that's because I was just like, this news is too good for them not to hear. And I don't necessarily feel comfortable. I was like very passionate, and so I was trying to be an echo. I was just trying to take somebody I watched, Todd White, and then be like, you need to know Jesus. But then I was also like, I don't know how to do this well. So I was like, let me just bring them to church. And so, because when we bring vessels, God's going to fill them. Right. And some of those guys, a lot of them to this day aren't serving the Lord, but there was seeds planted. Yeah. And there was life change that did happen.
And I almost feel like it's one of the easiest ways to share the gospel. I mean, besides you walking it out yourself, it's like you're not the one getting up on the stage. I mean, not you, but like the people that are bringing them. Yeah. They're not the one getting up on the stage and being like, Jesus, it's you, really, or the person that's on the stage. And I feel like it's not like it's a cheap way or an easy way for you to do it, but in a way, like you said, like it's planting seeds, and then as they watch you live out your walk too, it's like, whoa, like this is real. Yeah. Instead of like the pressure is not on you, I guess. The pressure on you is to bring your friend and get them here. Bring
the vessel. Yeah. Go to your neighbor. Who's your neighbor? You're not the one who fills it. Your neighbor's everybody. Ben. Right. You see Ben back there? What is Ben doing?
Is he picking his nose?
Ben. He's trying to do sign language. It's Ben Woodworth, by the way, not Ben Brower. What are you doing, Ben?
Your shoe's untied, by the way.
Come on, Ben. Tuck your shoelaces into your shoes. I don't know why you keep tying them. They're Air Force Ones. Anyway, do you have any concluding thoughts?
No, I think just like kind of what we were talking about, like don't just invite your friends, but bring them, and like God's going to do the rest.
He's going to keep moving when we have empty vessels. So thank you for being here today, Adriah, even though it was not an option. For me, it was an overthrow is what it was. My life was threatened. Call the cops.
That's what I do, though. Like, I feel like
you threaten lives and overthrow.
Like, no, you said earlier, like you texted me, you're like, okay, queen, or something like that. Or like,
Your Highness.
What did you say? Your Highness, yeah.
I said, Your Highness. Because your text to me basically said, I'm right and you're wrong. Yeah. And I said, okay, Your Highness.
And I was right. So.
Our discussion was on beef jerky, and I basically made the argument that beef jerky is better than a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Not necessarily. It's not necessarily better. When you have beef jerky that has like 60,000 ingredients and your Reese's might have like 18, it might be better to have
That was so exaggerative fake news. And fake news. If you think that beef jerky is better for you than a Reese's, please put something in the comments.
Okay, but if it's Slim Jim.
It wasn't Slim Jim.
I know, but like people might think like that's beef jerky.
Sure.
That's disgusting.
If
that's
your
like
beef
slimy
jerky is
meat
human
in a package.
skin that was dehydrated, it's probably
I don't even know if Slim Jims, like if they even contain meat.
Slim Jims are delicious.
They're disgusting.
They're like the number one snack on the mission strip. You just pound them.
I wouldn't.
Anyway, thank you for watching today. Thank you for joining us. Hey, remember, like it, subscribe. Give Adriah some love in the comments for being here. She didn't even roast me that bad. She could have. I told a very personal story that made her very mad at me. But you just came on full of honor because she said off camera that she read in her Bible this morning.
I think I said that on camera. I'm almost pretty sure I did.
No, you said off camera that you read in your Bible to respect each other because she read her Bible this morning.
I did. And it said, husbands, love your wives, and wives, respect your husbands. Basically.
So spiritual. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for being on. Hey, hope you're having a great week so far. It's Wednesday. You're halfway there. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Have a great rest of your week. We'll see you Sunday night for Fuel, worship, and prayer night. We're ending our fast. Free pizza afterwards. Come on.
And don't forget to come Friday night.
Friday night for worship and prayer from 7 to 8. And then the next week is momentum. Giveaways, games, people giving their lives to Jesus. It's going to be great. A lot of amazing things happening. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week, and we will see you sometime this week.